Okay, hello, I'm Henri, Mainframe Society, for another LMW podcast recording here live from TechXchange, day 3, if I'm correctly, but it feels like day 7 already. It's such a blast. My today's guest does not need an introduction, I think. We're here with the lovely PJ Catalano, famous from keeping us happy on LinkedIn daily with funny videos and nice meme things. So PJ, you want to introduce yourself for like the people who do not know who you are?
Absolutely. I'm PJ Catalano. I'm the IBM Z and LinuxONE test architect. I part-time as a mainframe influencer, but I've been doing mainframe pretty much my entire career, 23 years right out of college. And I just fell in love with the platform. I never wanted to leave it.
Yeah. And to fell in love, it really resonates with me. Can you pinpoint that to like a single thing? Like it was the...
I'm going to be honest. I don't know if it was like a single moment or an enlightenment, right? It was just kind of an evolution, right? Yeah. It is like I was working on it. I was learning on it. I'm going to be honest. When I started, I didn't understand what it was and the importance of it. And over time, just seeing what it means, the infrastructure it provides for the world, like it's like, oh my God, this is important. Like, yes. Why are we talking about this to more people, and not just people who know about it, which we do a great job, but also people who don't know what this thing is. Like, where is that? Where is the content? Where is the messaging about that? And to me, like, once that clicked for me, I'm like, why not me? I can try that. Let me try to be that voice. And that, I think, really energized me and made me fall in love with it all over again.
Very cool. Yeah. So would you say that is the reason for your, well, I don't know what to call it, because it's not memes. It's like double-layered messaging, I think,
so,
all the time.
You know, the way I'm an advocate at the end of the day, right? You know, to me, I'm creating content just for awareness, right? I love the term edutainment, right? Where it's like you're educating somebody, but you're entertaining them at the same time. So my goal is, I want to make somebody smile. I want to make them laugh. I want to brighten their day. Priority number 1. If they learn something about mainframe, something about the technology, that's priority 2, right? So like, how do we make something fun, exciting, something I want to watch? Like, because I'm one of the guys, like, I get to watch my own memes and my own videos and laugh, right? Because it's like, if I don't want to watch it, why should I ask anybody else to watch it? So like, how do we make that, content that people want to watch and engage with, and also speaks to them, especially this micro niche community we're in? Like, how do we make this accessible to everyone? So people can just start asking a question. I don't want anybody to walk away as a mainframe expert, but what is that box? Why is it important? Why is that in the background? Like, ask that question, because not enough people are asking it.
No, true. And they don't realize that all that, well, I was going to say power, but it's not really about the power and all the tech specs, the megahertzes and the cores, but what it delivers for businesses and enterprises, the economy of, a large part of the world, in my opinion.
Absolutely.
It runs in a little box like, well, a couple of boxes.
Yeah, a couple of frames and usually a bunch of them. But no, absolutely. I mean, again, we take it for granted, that technology, right? Everything we do at the end of the day touches the sky. So why aren't we telling people that? Why are we telling that in a way and on platforms that those people who don't know start to see it, right? So on the TikToks, on the Instagrams, we do great on LinkedIn. We talk good, but that's business to business. But like, yes, Z, we're not selling directly to consumers, but you were impacted by this technology. You should be aware of it.
Yeah, I understand. So that's why we, and I think a lot of people that, watch our channels do, label you as, well, your mainframe, it said hi, but, also like one of the leaders, I mean, like a leading voice. I think you do a very good job at getting that message across. One of the things I'm curious about, where do you get your inspiration? Is it like something you wake up in the morning or middle of the night sometimes where you go, oh, I now need to post this, jumping beaver or this bouncing ball thing, or this
100%. Yeah. I don't know where it comes from. I wake up thinking about it. I have a creative aspect in my brain, right? Part of being a master inventor, part of creating content. It's kind of creating something from my brain into the real world. And when I see something, my brain like, oh, I know how to connect this to make it funny for mainframe. Oh, I know how to twist this. It just it happens. Unfortunately, I don't have a recipe that says, yes, this is the process. I see something funny. I'm like, I know I can make this funnier for my people, for us. Yeah. And I'm like, I could just go do it and execute on it. Right. Yeah. And I'm not a person that asks for permission. Always like, oh, you get permission to post all that stuff. I'm like, no, I beg for forgiveness. But it's usually part of it is I've been doing this for a while, so I know the context of what we're going to do. But again, it's like, it's for the community. It's for the people. It's for share. It's for all of us to enjoy, right? So it's like, if you think of things in that context, yeah, it just flows somehow from here out into the stuff that I end up creating and sharing.
So then, from the leaderish perspective, do you have any like examples or maybe counterexamples where that actually resulted in something more than just a grin and a smile and a funny bouncy picture of you, chasing a mainframe? Is it mostly the feedback and the word and communication?
The community feedback from all my content, like that dopamine hit. I mean, there's no high better than that. And I think that fuels me and makes me want to, I am here because of that content. I am not here because of my day job. I'm going to be perfectly honest. I could talk about mainframes all day from a technical, but I don't get invited to places like this to talk to you because I test these things really well. It's important. Don't get me wrong, but it's like, but let's tell people about it. Let's show it, right? So opportunity from a career perspective has been tremendous once I started kind of stepping out of my normal box and kind of creating a voice, right, for myself and kind of spreading that. So, it's led to some wonderful opportunities. Like I say, coming to conferences like this, just being able to kind of start being a voice for IBM. Like that, I never imagined like seeing my face on like the IBM LinkedIn page or IBM Instagram. Yeah. Like to me, that jazzes me up, right? So, it kind of all stems into like, doing this stuff, creating the content I started with because I enjoyed it. I wanted to engage with the community, but the feedback and the love from the community is really what drives me every day to wake up, to think of making a new meme or a new video.
Cool. Yeah, very cool. So away from the memes and the laughters and the lols, you say your day job, right? You don't come here because of your day job. I think it's part of it, to be honest. Any like cool like stories to share? I mean, I can imagine, but my biggest fear, having to do what you do is you miss something.
Yeah.
Right. And out of the field, hardly anything happens with these babies.
Yeah.
Something happens and you go, oh yeah, we're going to embed that in our testing procedures, or we're going to add something.
I mean, it's all part of the process, right? I mean, I have 200 mainframes, right? But even with 200 mainframes, it's not enough configuration. The customization, right, is infinite on this platform. So we have to do our best engineering guess is like, how do we get the most coverage? And honestly, it does, as a test architect, I do get sad when I hear a customer has a problem, right?
Yeah.
And I take it personally, right? Because it's like that's my job at the end of the day, is make sure it doesn't happen. Now, I know statistically I could test forever and still not find anything, but like we have to do what we can do. But every time a customer hits a problem, we bring that data back, we look at it and say, how do we miss it, right? There we have a feedback loop and say, is it part of our test process? Is there something we should add on the next cycle to go around? Is it configuration? Is it firmware? Is it interact? So we look at all those things very deeply, very technically, and have a discussion of not just, my team does the final system test, which is the last phase, but there's so many other test phases ahead of me, unit test, integration test, right? So for us, it's not just important where the problem should be found, but in what phase is the correct phase to find that problem, right? Because again, the later in the cycle you find these things, the harder it is, more expensive it is, and the harder it is to debug and fix. So, we work with our development partners, our test partners, right, and our design partners, and really put together and do a deep analysis on every field issue that escapes. But I take it personal, like, and I hate having like I'm so sorry. Like I don't know how to say that. It's like, I'm sorry, we should have found it. Absolutely.
Yeah.
But yeah, we bring that back in, and we want to make sure we talk to our customers and clients and explain to them like, hey, look, we missed it because of this, but this is what we're going to do to fix it so you don't see this again or anybody sees it again.
Yeah, that's very cool. So, like we started sort of end of the day, these machines run usually some mission critical workloads, stuff that you're very angry about. If it doesn't work, I don't know, like, paying for your flight at the hotel, minor things. There are the minor things in life, getting your mortgages running.
Yeah.
And is that something that's you were saying, right? I didn't know anything. And the love and the passion and how you sort of, I think, grow as a enthusiast of these babies.
Yeah.
Does that did it grow for you as well? Or was it, because for me, it was the same sort of start. It's just a box and I ran some PL1 and, yeah, hooray, right? I'm doing another invoicing program that goes out. Yay.
Yeah.
But then for me, there was this, it wasn't like a gradual growth. It was like this all of a sudden, like, holy, this thing runs our company.
Yeah.
And if it breaks, everything stops.
Right.
And so it's like this, it's sort of like a sort of check, and not like a nice scale.
Right. I mean, I think part of understanding, right, anything is you need to understand what you're supposed to be doing, right? And that usually takes a couple of years, like, what is my piece and how do I do that really well? But then as you slowly start to open up the aperture and realize the cog you play in this massive machine, quite literally, like, now you understand what the machine does. And I think that's the, oh my goodness, right? Because it comes in as a flood, because you need to understand a lot of connectivity to get that picture, and you need to understand it fast. And that's when, it hits, right? So, I think, just looking back at my career, right, the first 5 to 10 years, I mean, perfectly honest, it was kind of figuring it out. What is the piece? What am I doing? How does it play? And really just focus on that. That 10 beyond career mark is when my aperture started. And I'm like, wow, there's a bigger role than I understood for this. And also there's a bigger role for me within an organization that does that, right? So as I was growing in my leadership within the organization at IBM, the scope and your span starts in, and then you start really seeing like, oh, we do that too? Like, we need to make sure we understand how that, and that really kind of drives that function of knowledge, passion, and just joy of like, oh my goodness, this is so much cool stuff we do. Let's just talk about it in a way that nobody else is.
Yeah, well, I think you're doing a very good job. Final one on leadership then, PJ. Because you're in a leadership function, and I think also inside, but also outside, the IBM wall, you're the face, people, like, oh, there's another post, another thing. But do you have any like lessons learned, tips or advices on how to properly lead a team, maybe with, young professionals coming into, and maybe it's not needed. I'm just curious, to either not have them get that step function, but give them a gradual slope, or is that something that you have experiences there?
Yeah, I mean, so, I have the pleasure of being the technical lead for 100 test engineers and test technicians, right? So it's a fairly sizable team, right? And I think for me, being a leader is insulating the team from the stuff that they don't need to know, but also giving them access to the things to make them better. Yeah. So there's the ability of like, how do I not protect my team, but to enable them most effectively, but then also putting the trust in others, right? Is, being a quality assurance guy, like, it's like, oh, we need to make sure but as part of leadership, like as your scope and your span of control grows, your influence and what actually happens decreases. Yeah. So you really need to be, and what I've been trying to do is identifying like, who's the next set of leaders? Like, who's going to be the next PJ at some point, right? Or who has the potential to possibly, and making sure you're fostering them, giving them opportunities and identifying, right? And putting them in spots of like, hey, this is a project I really would love to lead. I don't have the time. I trust you. Like, you own this. If you need help, you come to me as a leader and I will go fix it. But I need you to pay attention and I need you to keep me up to date, right? So giving over that control to other people, I think, is a big step in kind of how you grow your personal leadership and also start building leadership in others. So yeah, I mean, it is a big function to step, and we have lots of different areas to go in, like lots of different disciplines. So I don't know if there's really an easy way, but for me, it's like, how do you foster that next generation? And being a mid-tenure mainframer, there's not many of us in the industry. So I built, I think, my leadership being able to translate from the people that have 40 years in the industry to people who have 10 years in the industry, and be that translation layer, like literally a translation layer, because it is a different language. It is different generations, right? And being able to talk up, down, across, not just, within an organization, but across the organization has really added, I think, value to me as a leader. And just being able to know how to communicate with people, being a friend to person. Like, I want to treat everybody as my best friend. I'm gonna be honest, and I want to treat the community as my best friend. And I go into every relationship with that. And as a leader, like, you need to trust your team needs to trust you. And if you're not understanding and trusting one another with like a friendship back, like you're going to fail, right? So come into it with your whole heart, like be passionate about it, right? And be transparent and open with people. And I think that builds great leadership.
I think that is a very, very great piece of advice. I think I thank you. You are busy as a bee here at this amazing Tech Exchange 25 Orlando. I thank you a lot for this interview, and I can't wait to see this one.
Henry, it's been a pleasure. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.